Welcome to Finbot Insights. Today, we are constructing the foundation for any successful investment strategy, which is setting clear, powerful objectives. This single step is the most critical starting point for managing your wealth effectively. In this explainer, we'll move sequentially through 5 critical components. We will start with the bedrock principles of investing, then define your required return, explore the crucial difference between income and total return, account for the impact of inflation, and finally, factor in the costs that can silently erode your gains. Let's begin with the absolute foundation of investing. Before a single dollar is allocated, your strategy must have formally established objectives. These are not simply goals, they are the guiding principles for every single decision that follows. You can think of a sound strategy as a logical hierarchy. Everything flows from the top. Your objectives are the source, and they determine the broad, long-term direction of your portfolio, your strategic allocation. That, in turn, dictates any short-term tactical moves, and finally, the specific investments you choose. If your objectives are wrong, everything downstream is compromised. Nobel laureate James Tobin captured the central conflict of investing perfectly. And while he was speaking of institutions, this principle applies directly to you. Your core task is to resolve the tension between the present, what you need to live on now, and the future, which is the preservation and growth of your capital for tomorrow. This brings us to a critical distinction in your planning: necessity versus aspiration. For any prudent investor, and especially one who relies on investment income, it's essential to separate the returns you absolutely require from those you simply desire. A required return is a non-negotiable target. Missing it has adverse consequences because it is meant to meet your essential financial obligations, like a mortgage payment. A desired return, on the other hand, is an aspirational goal, like generating funds to purchase a luxury yacht. It's beneficial, certainly, but it is not essential for your financial well-being. So to meet those returns, we must understand the engine driving your portfolio. This leads us to 2 very different ways of thinking about your return objective, focusing on income generation versus pursuing total return. Income represents the cash flow you receive from assets, like interest from bonds or dividends from stocks. Total return, however, captures the complete picture. It includes that cash flow plus any change in the asset's underlying value, which we call capital appreciation. The data from this period reveals a crucial insight. Between 2000 and 2012, reinvested dividends accounted for the entirety of the S&P 500's positive returns. An investor focused only on price would have seen a capital loss, but the total return transformed that loss into a significant gain. We now turn to one of the most significant, yet often underestimated, risks to long-term wealth. I'm referring to the corrosive effect of inflation. For this reason, your objective should always be expressed in real terms. The real return is the only measure that tells you whether your purchasing power is truly growing. As this chart demonstrates, inflation can have a dramatic effect. Over this long period, the nominal return of a U.S. Treasury bond portfolio was 8.5% per year, but its real return was just 4%. Inflation reduced the effective annual return by more than half. Finally, we must account for the explicit costs of investing. Fees and taxes can materially impact your net returns over time, creating a compounding drag on performance. The compounding effect of fees is substantial. Let's return to our S&P 500 example. A seemingly small 1% annual fee would have erased over 80% of the total return in this scenario, slashing it from nearly 17% down to just over 3%. This powerful force of compounding works in reverse with fees. It creates a compounding drag that systematically diminishes your wealth year after year. This framework should prompt you to reevaluate your own strategy. You must ask yourself if your investment objectives are truly built upon a durable and realistic foundation that accounts for all of these factors. We encourage you to subscribe to Finbot Insights for continued access to precise and actionable financial education. If you found this explainer valuable, please like it to support the channel.